Hello folks, welcome to Jack Reviews Musicals. If this is your first time seeing my face on the internet, my name is Jack and I'm a musical theater superfan based in St. Louis, Missouri. And this is my YouTube channel where I share my thoughts on all of the musical productions I go out to see in the area. And the incredibly kind folks at Stray Dog Theater invited me to the press preview for their production of Rock of Ages, which is currently playing at Tower Grove Abbey from now until April 26th of 2025. Stray Dog's production of Rock of Ages marks the third year in a row that Stray Dog has produced a jukebox musical, the first two being Saturday Night Fever and Xanadu, both of which I have reviewed. The former you can read my review for on jackreviewsmusicals.com, and the latter a video review, which you can watch by clicking the card in the video right here. Now, for a little bit of context, my feelings towards both of those shows were very different from each other. For one thing, I loved Saturday Night Fever. It was this really profound character study that had a lot of hard-hitting social commentary. Xanadu, on the other hand, was more of a light-hearted diversion, and it attempted to be more than what it was, with results that I thought fell flat. But the thing about Rock of Ages is it tries to do what Xanadu did, but I think it was a lot more successful here. And I think Stray Dog understood this too, starting with the actual production values. Like, walking into Tower Grove Abbey, it was completely transformed. The central location of Rock of Ages is the Bourbon Room. It's a rock and roll dive bar in Hollywood's Sunset Strip, set in the year 1987. Set designer Rob Lippert and lighting designer Tyler Denow worked in tandem to create a space that accurately resembles dive bars that I have been in as recently as last year, with so much period detail that added a lot of history. The entrance is an upper-level platform where the cast has to traverse a flight of stairs just to get down to stage level, really taking advantage of Tower Grove Abbey's height. Next to the entrance is several license plates from states that indicate people come from miles around the Bourbon Room. There's a sign next to the door in all caps, "Please don't do coke in the bathroom." It's little details like that that really set the tone perfectly. The bar has real liquor bottles in it. There's a phone booth on stage right, and everything, the bar, the phone booth, is all covered in peeling band stickers, indicating the sheer number of bands that have played in this bar. Stage left is the facade of another historic location next door to the Bourbon Room, the Gentlemen's Club. There's a neon sign, a stripper pole, a restroom door, faded posters featuring the club's services, and there's palm trees on the walls in the center to indicate, yes, we're in LA. The entire stage is lit with neon colors that make the stage both feel low-lit and bright at the same time. I have no idea how Rob Lippert and Tyler Denow achieved this, but it's masterful. You can tell just from walking into the theater what kind of show Rock of Ages is going to be. It's sleazy, it's self-referential, but very, very funny. And that's exactly what Rock of Ages turns out to just be. And I think the production design being so detailed was the first indication of how seriously the Stray Dog cast and crew took this show, even though the script really doesn't. Stray Dog very much infused the story's high stakes for us, because the material is very slim. I would even dare to describe this show as what Max Goof's mom was. Real frickin' goofy. Sherry Christian is a small-town girl living in a lonely world. Drew Bully is a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. They took the midnight train going anywhere, and it took them to Hollywood. Sherry dreams of being a famous film actress. Drew dreams of being rock and roll superstar Wolfgang von Colt. But they have to get their start somewhere, so they find jobs at the Bourbon Room as a waitress and barback respectively. The Bourbon Room is run by Dennis Dupree, a former backup singer in the music industry, who has a lot of connections to get the biggest rock bands of the day to play at his bar. Connections that are right now of high priority. Recently, the bar has fallen into the greedy mitts of Hertz and Franz Kleinemann, a German father-son team of real estate developers. They want to demolish the Bourbon Room and other establishments like it on the Sunset Strip to make room for a more clean living environment for LA. But upon receiving the news, Dennis sees an opportunity. He had just found out too that the rock band Arsenal has broken up because their frontman Stacey Jax is starting a solo career. So Dennis arranges for Jax to be the headliner for the Bourbon Room's farewell concert in the hopes that the revenue generated from this will be enough for the Kleinemans to reverse their decision. Actively protesting the Kleinemans are a bunch of rock groupies led by Regina Kuntz. Actually, it's pronounced Regina. Yeah, she's that kind of groupie. Regina is actually the former city planner for Los Angeles, and upon hearing that the Bourbon Room is being demolished, she starts protesting, saying that there is value in LA's more seedy aspects. And I will give Rock of Ages credit. In a story like this, that is refreshing to see. Regina's tenacity catches the attention of Franz Kleinemann, who gets the bug planted in his brain that maybe what his father Hertz is doing is really not that great. But let's turn our attention back to the leads, Drew and Sherry, who are starting to fall in love with each other. But because this is a story set in the 80s, they can't tell each other how they really feel. They are way too shy to express their true feelings, and this leads Drew to do the worst thing that he could possibly do: put him and Sherry into the friend zone, disappointing both parties pretty hard. It's at this point that we finally meet Stacey Jax, and he turns out to be the living, breathing stereotype of the egotistical, pretentious rock star. He mistreats his band, he blows off his fans and the publicity, and he is a serial womanizer. And his latest conquest is Sherry, who is immediately smitten with him compared to Drew, and Stacey takes advantage of this by having his way with Sherry in the men's restroom. And afterwards, Stacey tries to turn the whole thing around. In his quest for climbing to the top of the rock totem pole, Stacey goes up to Dennis, telling him that Sherry was the one who was taking advantage of him. Drew ends up being a corroborating witness, telling Dennis he did see Stacey and Sherry going into the men's restroom together. And so Sherry is fired. But Stacey doesn't get away with this. The house band's lead guitarist finds out the truth through the grapevine, and as Stacey is taking the stage to do his farewell concert, the guitarist sucker punches him and knocks him out cold right there on the stage. And so Drew is forced to take over in his stead. And of course, he knocks it right out of the park, catching the attention of record producer Jakeith Gill, who presents Drew with the chance to achieve his dreams of really becoming Wolfgang von Colt. Will Drew take the bait? What happens to Sherry after she's tossed out? What becomes of Stacey after his takedown? Will Regina help Franz stand up to his father? Will the Bourbon Room be saved from demolition? What do you think? Rock of Ages is, at its heart, a loving, affectionate parody of cheesy, formulaic 80s movies. Kinda like Xanadu. The script really does not take itself seriously, and it breaks the fourth wall quite often, winking at the audience. There are even several points where the cast enters into the audience's space, getting them involved in these shenanigans. The protesters hand these leaflets to the audience, as well as Stray Dog Theater season ticket brochures. Pretty good marketing strategy, I'll give them that. Stacey Jax also makes it rain, and in a display of gross out humor, Stacey throws used panties from his pocket out into the audience. The band interacts with the cast. The lead guitarist really does punch out Stacy at the end of Act 1. And most importantly, Rock of Ages has a narrator in the form of Lonnie Barnett, the manager of the Bourbon Room, and he is portrayed spectacularly in Stray Dogs production by Bradley Bliven. Lonnie is the first character that we meet in the show, and Bliven's portrayal of him was the first indicator for the overall performance style of this entire production. Lonnie makes it clear from the start that Rock of Ages is a light-hearted parody first and foremost, and he takes every opportunity to milk that for all that it's worth, with really infectious, smart-ass gremlin energy. Everything that Bliven does as Lonnie is over the top, even when he's expressing deep, profound emotions. In Act 2, he sings REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling, and he does this to confess his love for Dennis, who has become a father figure to him. And this show of love was so expressive, so vibrant, it struck a chord with me. Kinda gave me a full circle viewing experience for this production, because on this press preview night, I went to see it with my father, because he is the prime target audience for Rock of Ages. The 1980s were my father's late teens and early 20s. He's a movie buff, so he grew up with a lot of the stories that are being parodied here, often seeing them in the theater. He is a lifelong rocker and metalhead. In the 1980s, he actually worked retail at a record store. He is intimately familiar with all of the bands represented in the show, even seeing some of them live in concert. And when he saw this production, he just ate it right up. Of course he did. Kudos to Stray Dog Theater for really doing Rock of Ages justice. And I really do mean it. Stray Dog Theater's Rock of Ages pretty much only works because Stray Dog is the only company in town who knows down to a science how to play really campy, really light-hearted shows in ways that are guaranteed to get butts in the seats. For one thing, the visuals are fantastic. Stray Dog hires production designers that are top of the line. We have the set and lights by Rob Lippert and Tyler D now, of course, but the costumes by Colleen Michelson have so much history to them too. Band t-shirts, humorous graphic tees, ripped jeans, fishnets, lots of jewelry, even down to some of the core ensemble members having glow-in-the-dark accessories. And there are some moments where that created really cool stage pictures, like in Sherry's introductory song Sister Christian by Night Ranger, and the Act 2 opener, Europe's The Final Countdown. Even the formal clothes the characters wear are over the top 80s, like when Regina first appears on stage in her city planner look. My dad actually commented as an aside that she resembled 80s Tipper Gore. And my favorite piece of costume wizardry was when Franz sings Pat Benatar's Hit Me With Your Best Shot in the scene where he is standing up to Hertz. When he gets to the chorus, he actually tears off his suit to reveal a full neon spandex aerobics outfit, looking like the lead from Flashdance. The hair and makeup by Sarah Jean Dowling, some of the best she's ever done here. 3/4 of the actors in this show are in wigs, and many of them are in more than one. Sherry has these massive teased curls, Dennis has a mullet, Stacy has a straight perm that goes down to his chest, Keith has a faux hawk. Some of the wigs even have dual tones in them. The hair design was across the board fabulous. Like, this and the costumes were probably the most important visual details to sell that we are in the world of true 80s rockers, whether we like it or not. And the director of this production, Justin Bean, he assembled a cast of actors who were truly fearless risk takers. They cultivate this performance style where, yes, they do wink at the audience, they are aware of how dumb this show is, but they don't care. They're just having good old-fashioned fun with this, and it feels sincere. They draw us in. They really make us feel invested with these characters, even if they are just one-dimensional stock. Now, I already talked about Bradley Bliven's standout performance as Lonnie, but that's not to discredit the really great work from the leads, Dawn Schmid as Sherry and Drew Mizell as, well, Drew. Pretty easy casting when you get a character that could answer by your own name. As usual with anything that these two are in, they're wonderful. Their chemistry as a couple is great. Their personalities, electrifying. And their voices, fantastic. There's great solo work from Schmid and Quarter Flash's Harden My Heart, and Mizell in Twisted Sisters' I Wanna Rock, and a truly heartfelt duet, High Enough by Damn Yankees. And the way that these two navigate their feelings for each other, even though the characters themselves are pretty one-note dim-witted, it's so entertaining to watch because of the energy that Schmid and Mizell put into this. Stacey Jax is played by Clayton Humberg, and yeah, it's ideal casting. Humberg knows how to play a character like Stacey Jax and his vapid sleaziness, reveling in how easy he thinks being a rocker is, e.g. pocket panties. As always, Humberg's vocals are excellent, acing Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive, and a really great duet with Schmid in Asia's Heat of the Moment. Jeffrey M. Wright perfectly captures Dennis's world weariness with sort of this tired dad energy that melts away completely when he is met with a cause for concern or even love. Like when Lonnie confesses to him and can't fight this feeling. And Wright really is the perfect match for the energy given by Bradley Bliven as Lonnie. Jay Danaeus is also great in the dual role of LA's very flighty mayor who agrees to the Kleinemann's plans for demolition, with a really fun vocal feature in We Built This City by Jefferson Starship, and Justice Chalier, the kind-hearted owner of the Venus Club, and she shows off quite a passionate vocal in Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night. Sarah Polizzi gives an explosive portrayal of Regina. She is yet another acting standout. Her energy is both uncontrollable and yet perfectly precise at the same time, leading the protesters in Twisted Sisters, We're Not Gonna Take It, and her chemistry with Luke A. Smith as Franz was actually really cute. And their scenes together were so full of this boundless spirituality. For Smith's part, he makes Franz as cute as a bug. He makes his journey from being ground down by his father to over-the-top, confident, rebellious, really fun to watch, especially during Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Jacob Wilkinson as Hertz is gleefully excessive in his villainy, really finding loads of comedic potential in his very shrill accent, and in his domineering over Franz. The last three members of the cast round out an airtight ensemble of bar staff, rockers, dancers, protesters, and all that. Corinna Redford is a firebrand as Jakeith Gill, the out-of-touch record producer. Sarah Ray Womack is an easygoing waitress. And finally, we have Ruben Medina Perez, who executes this impressive pole dancing routine during Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me. It elicited quite a lot of catcalls, most of them from me. Thank choreographer Mike Hodges for that. And the rest of his dancing, when it's not just headbanging and devil horns, are moves reminiscent of 80s rock videos, with big dance highlights being Sister Christian, and also the show's finale, Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. Musical director Mallory Golden really forced the actors, and even the band too, to really find the feeling behind these songs, like genuinely appreciating this music and the context behind them, rather than just presenting them as shallow covers. It's the reason why Can't Fight This Feelin' worked so well for me. I always thought of that song as just a cheesy love song, but Rock of Ages turned it into a song about found family, and I never thought of it that way. Rock of Ages really did give me a deeper appreciation for these songs, music that I've grown up with through my dad. And it's just as emotional, as tuneful, and hard rockin' as the originals. Golden leads the band with themself on the keys, Johnny Reitano and Jonathan Beck on the guitars, M. Joshua Ryan on the bass, and Jake Lubert on the drums. I am really surprised to say just how delightful Stray Dog Theater's Rock of Ages really is. Like, I did not think I was going to enjoy this production as much as I did. Were there moments that I thought were stupid? Definitely. Were there some songs I would have loved to seen switch out with another potential pick? Absolutely. But I think the show that we ended up getting is too high energy, too enthusiastic, and too shredalicious, if I dare say, to not enjoy it, or even pass up on it. Stray Dog Theater's Rock of Ages is high camp musical theater being done at its best. And there really is nobody in St. Louis who can do this kind of theater better than Stray Dog. Have you seen this production though? If so, what did you think about it? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below and let me know. And while you're at it, be sure to check out my website, jackreviewsmusicals.com, where you can read my back catalog of written reviews. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more St. Louis musical theater reviews coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, long live the musical, and long live rock and roll!